Hello. I know so many of you have been asking me how to prepare for breastfeeding. And here are my 3 tips on how to prepare. And those 3 tips are actually tools that you should get now. Number 1, get a syringe. A syringe like this one, a little bigger, 20 milliliters. It has the tip on the side. I get it from Baxter, made in Denmark. You can get those on Amazon. And you use those syringes to fill them up with colostrum before your due date. Ask your doula how to hand express colostrum before the due date. It really helps to have some colostrum available, because if your baby loses too much weight too quickly after birth, you don't need to introduce formula, but you can use that colostrum. Your little one won't need much, maybe 15 milliliters, 30 milliliters, like less than an ounce in the first days after birth per feed. And so it can be very helpful to have some colostrum available. Don't do this more than 7 days before your due date. So we start to do hand expression about a week before the due date, because it can cause contractions, and we don't want that unless you're really truly close to your due date or over your due date. So this is good to fill with colostrum and then freeze it, and then you have it if you need it. And also, this is how you supplement your baby the first month after birth. If your little one only needs a little bit of supplementation here and there postpartum. This is very helpful instead of a bottle, because it doesn't create nipple confusion. We call it finger feeding. So we give a finger into the baby's mouth, and then the tip of the syringe goes into the corner of the baby's mouth. They suckle, get the milk, but at the same time, they don't create a vacuum. It's not the same sensation for a baby than being on the bottle or a pacifier. And therefore, this is the best way to use and to supplement a baby if you do want to breastfeed, okay? Number 2, get a Haakaa breast pump. The Haakaa looks like this. It's a really wonderful hand breast pump. Not to be confused with the electric pump. Please get an electric pump from your insurance. You do have the right to get one. They are very helpful. You will need it 100%. I've never had a client who didn't use it, either one of them, because you sometimes do have a little bit more milk than your baby took, or you have a lump somewhere, or you want to start collecting breast milk. And for that, it's really helpful to have something that actually pumps and catches milk. The Haakaa is the so-called hand pump. What you do, you flip it out first. You also squeeze it a bit, put it on the breast, let go, here, let go. And then you have a vacuum, you have the Haakaa hanging on your breast. You could even use it on one breast while you nurse your baby on the other breast. This is a really great pump, because you don't need to do much, especially if you nurse your baby and then you have the Haakaa on the other side, you collect milk without doing anything. And at the same time, it helps to activate the letdown. The milk flow keeps going. So when the baby then goes on the other side, usually milk flow is a little easier and better to get for your baby. And number 3 is get a so-called nipple shield. A nipple shield is something that you only use with the help of a lactation consultant. Just don't use it just like that, because we can't always get the baby off the nipple shield. So this is a so-called tulip or nipple shield. This is an M size. It comes in this little container here. And the way you use it is it helps to protect your nipples. You put it on the nipple before you put the baby on the breast. This is what it looks like. It has an opening here. This is where your baby's nose goes. So let's say I'm latching the baby on my left breast. My baby lies here in front of me in a cradle hold. The baby's nose should touch your skin in order to smell, and in order to touch skin and not silicone. The nipple shield is basically in between you and the baby. If your nipples hurt, if your baby has issues, trouble latching on, let's say your milk just came in and you're really engorged, if there's any problems with your little one having not a strong suck, or maybe you have a preemie baby, that's when the nipple shield comes in handy. But again, only introduce it together with a lactation consultant or after you spoke with one. You might have someone at the hospital. Feel free to call me. I do virtual consultations, in-person consultations. This really, we only introduce this when it's truly needed, because it's not always so easy to get the baby off the nipple shield, but there's some tricks to that, of course, as well. Other than that, please watch many videos. How do I breastfeed? What's important for a good latch? How often should I even nurse? Can I do that? Do I want to do that? Nursed babies are on your breast every 2-3 hours, day and night, 10 to 12 times in 24 hours. That's important to know because some women want to sleep through the night, and we can't do that, unfortunately, when we're breastfeeding. Not the first month. After a month, it gets better, okay? So really watch videos. There's so many out there, how to nurse, what's important, what's normal, what's not normal. And if you have any questions, any concerns, any issues, please don't hesitate. Reach out to your lactation consultant. Insurance usually covers lactation